I 19M live with my parents, if you call them that anymore. They have had a long history of domestic abuse, lying to CPS, and firing therapists. I have nowhere else to go, and my part-time job barely pays me enough to get out. My mother has had a history of drug and alcohol use. She's been off of alcohol for a few years, but does use marijuana for medical purposes as I do. She also has a history of being incredibly violent, manipulative, and untruthful. Friends, neighbors, and my old school has gotten CPS involved because I'd show up to school with bruises or marks. Once she was drunk and she saw my old social media post about a story about dragons and loyalty and shit. And in her mind she somehow fabricated that I had been talking about getting raped and abused in her house. Well, get to that later, and she slammed my head through a wall multiple times. I was 14 at the time. Cops got involved and CPS took me into custody because she told me if I ever come back into her house she would kill me. Fast forward 5 years with consistent violent actions, threats, and endless demonizing, and she hasn't gotten any better. My father is no better, as he has sexually assaulted me multiple times as a preteen and has caused the most emotional damage to me. As he would constantly point out I'm overweight, I have tits and an ass, surprise I'm a biological woman, and has even gone as far as contact my boyfriend to turn him against me. So you can imagine what it's like in my household as I suffer PTSD, BPD, autism, and PDD, and now I have heart problems. Now with the context out of the way. My mother has the tendency to lash out on everyone and say the most shocking and do really horrific shit. This starts off with me in my room, scrolling through Instagram as she comes into my room and goes, if you bring any more cats in the house, I'm going to snap their fucking necks. Mind you, she's a cat hoarder. I have only brought one cat that I love to fucking death named Zartimus, and so I try to ignore it. She then stomps into my room with a broom and starts hitting and swatting another cat we have named Susie. She then threw Susie outside and stood at the door sweeping. Me being afraid, I started to record for my own safety as she has gotten violent to the point she tried to strangle my father with an extension cord. She then starts screaming shit like, Susie is gone because you're so horrible to her and you treat her horribly. I did everything in my power to keep my composure and my ground, as I was about to piss myself in fucking fear. She then starts telling me shit that is beyond irrelevant, paint herself as the victim while screaming as loud as she can. She then realizes I was recording her, and I guess she realized she can get in a shit ton of trouble. She then charges at me, attacks me trying to rip my phone that I paid for at my job, and left red scratch marks all over my arms. She then pins me in my room and screams, pack your bags and get the fuck out, over and over and over. She then stomps out of my room saying she's going to call the cops because I was recording her behavior for my own safety. So I called 911 telling them I was attacked, and now she's screaming. Police officers came and she threw herself outside in front of them, sobbing and acting like the most sweetest and kindest women ever. She then tells the cops the most nastiest fucking lies, like how I attacked and recorded her to start the fight. The cops took her side and said, if you don't like her rules you can fucking leave, we can help issue a restraining order and you can't live here anymore. I struggled not to cry as I was telling the fucking cops that I have months of recording of her attacking me, attacking her husband, and breaking shit. My mother doesn't pay the fucking bills, neither does she work. She stays at home, watches TV and smokes weed until she passes out. She rarely cleans and she blames her husband for trashing the house. The cops then laugh at me and leave. I've been a victim of domestic abuse, and it isn't surprising law enforcement doesn't even care. Fast forward to today, she ran out of drugs and now she's acting buddy-buddy with me so I can contact my people to ask for some flowers because she once again smokes it for pain relief and anxiety relief. She is entitled enough to attack me and have me nearly lose the only roof I can sleep under. And now she acts like nothing happens. My boyfriend is helping me move states with him, and as soon as I leave this island I'm going in for some intense and long therapy.